Hey everyone. Welcome to my channel B&B Glow. When Ridge interrupts Brooke and Nick, Luna promises to apologize to Steffi. Nick stares at Brooke at Forrester. They share a kiss as they say, "You are Brooke Logan, and you are amazing." Preview of Bold and Beautiful. An unexpected breakup could revolutionize everything. If only it were only in the right moment. Brooke gasps as he breaks out of the makeout session. Brooke tells Nick she's glad to see him but a little perplexed. Nick laughs. "Well, we know that still works." Nick requests that she tell him what transpired between her and Ridge. Brooke acknowledges that the takeover was the reason. He felt deceived by her attempts to regain control of the business. Like he always does, Nick assumes that's when he ran back to Taylor. Is this caveman truly what she wants? Are you looking for happiness? She responds, yes. Nick asks whether she wants a man who will love her and only her, and who will treat her with respect and kindness. Ridge gives Taylor comfort. Taylor notes that Ridge didn't respond to her inquiry when he kisses her at the Forrester mansion. Taylor learns that Brooke made another move on him before he returned home, and Ridge groans, "You want to know how I feel about Brooke?" Although Ridge is in love with Taylor and won't be leaving, he will always have feelings for Brooke. "You are my future." Taylor wants to confirm that he is telling the truth to himself. Brooke won't let him go, even though she knows he believes what he's saying. She appears to believe that she can win him back if she fights hard enough. "What do you want me to do?" Ridge asks. Ridge asks Taylor whether she's happy and says, "Talk to me." She never succeeded in getting them back together. They had always been separated by Brooke. Although Taylor is unsure, Ridge believes she will find someone new. She promises that she won't stand in their way. Ridge tells her that even if he has to return to work, he is right there with her and won't be leaving. Taylor informs him that she believes in both him and them. They share a kiss. Hayes is stalked by Luna. Hayes informs Steffi that they studied seaweed at the beach school. Liam tells Finn across the room that he's happy he's taking Luna's threat seriously. Finn is sleeping next to the bed with a baseball bat. Once his. Luna watches them via binoculars outside. Liam has to know he has a plan. Finn promises Liam that he won't allow anything to happen to Steffi and the children. They are joined by Steffi, who advises them to stop wasting time discussing Luna. Liam laments that he can't stop thinking about Hayes and Kelly and how unaware they are of Luna's danger. Luna gives Hayes a menacing glance as he peers out the window. Hayes is informed by Steffi that Electra will be picking him up today. He is thrilled. They show their affection. Liam tells Finn across the room that he is not disparaging him as a father or husband. He doesn't want him to worry, but Finn understands that he is worried about Steffi and the children. Liam simply can't get rid of a sensation. They ought to be terrified. As she watches from outside, Luna flashes Steffi a warning to keep her distance and not call Hayes her half-brother. She fumes and grinds her teeth. Without any sense of reason, Finn and Liam go over Luna. Finn's own daughter must be frightening him. Finn asks if the first day went well as the teacher and the other children stream in. She agrees and gives Liam another thank you for letting them use the house while they wait for their new facility to be finished. Hayes also acknowledges Liam. He is reassured by Liam that he would do anything for Hayes and his parents. Luna watches as Liam, Steffi, and Finn go. Steffi, Finn, and Liam laugh about the children at the beach school back at the Cliff House. Finn gives Liam another thank you for letting him use the beach cottage. Liam is happy that he is having an effect. According to Finn, Hayes sees him like an uncle. Liam is elated. Concentrating on those he cares about helps. But if he believes Luna will continue to prowl around, he can't seem to find rest. Hayes responds to the teacher's inquiry concerning sand at the beach school. Luna smiles as she observes the child outside and says, "Steffi, do you want to keep me away from my father? You'll regret it." Ridge and Nick got back together. Brooke tells Nick at Forrester that she cannot imagine her life without Ridge. Without Forrester, Nick is aware that she is unsure about who she is. His ego is trying to control her, which is unfair. What if her belief that Ridge is her fate is incorrect? What if she is looking directly into her destiny? Nick shares his belief in fate with Brooke. She, the lady he can't stop thinking about, is the reason he ended up there 20 years ago. She is in his heart no matter where he travels. He is a dedicated and honest man. They have previously made a commitment to one another. On the shady Marlin, they remember their wedding. And here we are now, Nick informs her. She must be able to state that she is prepared to put Ridge in the past, but she came here to tell you that she wants you back in her life. I swear it will happen if you say that. Ridge enters abruptly and says, Nick Marone. Nick informs him, we were just talking about you. What are you doing here? As he enters and hears Nick telling Brooke that he might be her fate, Ridge narrows his eyes. Tuesday, June 17, 2025. On today's episode of Bold and the Beautiful, Nick asks Brooke what she truly wants, Steffi and Finn attempt to soothe Liam, and Taylor asks Ridge how he feels about Brooke. Read the most recent B&B recap. Luna spied on Hayes, and Nick surprised Brooke with a kiss upon his return. Taylor asks Ridge again how he truly feels about Brooke after he kisses her at Eric's. Brooke has been informed by him that they are together. She has, too, but it hasn't stopped her. Although Ridge is in love with Taylor and plans to spend the rest of his life with her, he will always have feelings for Brooke. Brooke won't let go, even if she is certain he thinks so. What am I supposed to do? He wonders. Is their bond insufficient? She says, I'm happy, after a long silence. She simply believed that they would be kept apart by Brooke's antics. He tells her that they used to be friends, but she claims that was only for a short time. Taylor promises not to let Brooke stand in their way, even though she is certain that she will continue to lust after him. That, in his opinion, is the proper mindset. She assures him that she believes in them and can sense his love becoming stronger every day before he leaves for work. Nick tells Brooke how wonderful she is and gives her a kiss at Forrester. She smiles and chuckles after stepping back to collect her breath. She is confused but glad to see him. He asks her to tell him what transpired with Ridge. He felt deceived by the takeover, she explains. Nick laments Ridge's caveman mentality and the fact that her heart is in a catapult. Wouldn't she prefer a man who would treat her with care and respect and who would solely love her? Without Ridge, she can't picture her life. Nick believes she doesn't know who she is without him since she is too accustomed to him. He believes that she is amazing and that Ridge's desire to control her is unfair. Nick implies that he might be her fate. He thinks in destiny as well and is unable to let her go. Despite his global travels, he will always have a place in his heart for her. He reminds her of their wedding day and is a man of integrity and dedication. He came to express his desire to have her in his life. However, she must be prepared to put Ridge in the past. They can happen if she can. Ridge enters. The men squint and say each other's names. While Liam and Finn are concerned about Luna being on the loose, Hayes offers to get Steffi some seaweed at the nursery art school. Finn tells him that he keeps a baseball bat by the bed as he sleeps. Liam hopes he has a strategy for what will happen once he leaves. As Finn promises Liam that he will keep Steffi and the children safe, Luna eavesdrops on them. When Steffi arrives, she advises them to stop wasting time on Luna. Liam is unable to control himself. Finn doesn't want him to worry, but he does appreciate his concern. Liam expresses his gratitude for all he does. When Steffi gets back to Hayes, she informs him that Electra will come get him today. He's excited by it. Luna keeps seeing them from the long grass and remembers how irritated Steffi got when she made a comparison between herself and Hayes. She begins to sneer and growl. Liam and Finn continue to worry about Luna while Steffi and Finn draw. When the children all report to their teacher, she gives Liam another thank you for his father's kindness in letting them use the house. Steffi and her husbands leave after Hayes praises Liam as well. Luna grimaced and kept watching. All about sand, the teacher tells the children. Steffi will regret keeping her away from her father, according to Luna. Finn, Liam, and Steffi discuss how wonderful Hayes' school is at the Cliff home. Liam's assistance in setting it up is appreciated by the parents. Hayes believes he's the best, they tell him. Liam feels better because of that. He begins to moan as he recalls Luna. Will Brooke of B&B end the Ridge cycle? Nick's bet on her love. The turbulent love triangle involving Brooke Logan, Ridge Forrester, and Nick Marone has enthralled viewers of The Bold and the Beautiful for decades. Given that Brooke and Ridge's relationship is cyclical, they break up and then get back together, fans have been wondering if Brooke will ever be able to break free from the Ridge cycle. Now that Nick Marone, played by the endearing Jack Wagner, has unexpectedly returned to Los Angeles, the prospect of Brooke eventually escaping Ridge's sway seems more likely than ever. What makes Nick return this time, though, and is he really prepared to make a final stand for Brooke's affections? Jack Wagner recently revealed Nick's reasons for going back to Los Angeles, providing insight into his character's mentality. Wagner claims that Nick's return isn't merely a passing visit but rather a calculated action motivated by unresolved feelings for Brooke. Despite their poisonous patterns, Brooke has returned to Ridge on multiple occasions throughout the years, and Nick has watched from the sidelines. However, Nick thinks things might be different this time. Brooke is weak and wondering if she should keep fighting for a relationship that causes her grief all the time because of Ridge's indecisiveness and continual turmoil with Taylor Hayes. Nick sees this as his chance to intervene and provide Brooke with the security and commitment she is due. Wagner went into further detail on Nick's strategy for handling the matter. Nick is playing a strategic game this time, in contrast to previous tries where he might have been more passive. He is aware that Ridge's back-and-forth feelings have left Brooke emotionally spent and at a crossroads. Reminding Brooke of their past love, one that was real, passionate, and devoid of the turbulence that characterizes her relationship with Ridge, is Nick's risk. However, he is not just depending on nostalgia. Nick wants to demonstrate his ability to be the reliable companion Brooke has always required, someone who won't falter when a new woman enters the picture. Breaking the Ridge cycle won't be simple, though. Through decades of history, children, and shared victories and heartbreaks, Brooke and Ridge have a strong bond. There is an irresistible pull between them that neither can ignore for very long, even while they are away. Supporters have witnessed Brooke leave Ridge in the past, only to be enticed back when he activates the charm or when extraneous influences, such as Quinn or Taylor, step in. Nick's task is not only to win Brooke over, but to make sure she remains won over. Timing is one of Nick's main advantages. Brooke feels disenchanted with Ridge's recent actions. His inclination to blame Brooke for their issues, his incapacity to truly commit, and his residual ties to Taylor have all taken a toll. After years of defending Ridge, Brooke might finally be prepared to acknowledge that love shouldn't be this difficult. Nick's return to her life presents an alluring substitute, an opportunity for a love that doesn't require unrelenting sacrifice. Naturally, Ridge won't give up easily. Regardless of how many times Brooke has left, the Forrester patriarch has always considered him his own. He may use coercion, extravagant displays, or even playing on Brooke's guilt to keep her in his sphere of influence if he believes Nick poses a serious threat. The competition for Brooke's affection may rekindle long-standing animosities and result in violent altercations between Ridge and Nick. Brooke's own agency is an additional wild card in this scenario. Her plot has been about choose between men for far too long, but this time it might be about her picking herself. If she leaves Ridge, it should be because she is finally putting her happiness first, not just to run into Nick's arms. Nick could be more helpful in helping her regain her freedom than in saving her. Fans are excited to see if Nick's risk pays off because Jack Wagner's return has given this timeless love triangle new life. Will Brooke be able to escape the Ridge cycle at last, or will she always be stuck in the same patterns? Time will tell, but one thing is for sure. Nick will not give up easily. Here are the 3 major errors that the bold and the beautiful is making in Brooke's romantic life and why B&B is completely wrong. With her love relationships fueling some of the most recognizable plot lines on the program, Brooke Logan has been the beating heart of the bold and the beautiful for more than 30 years. However, in recent years, the writers have become mired in a tiresome cycle with her character, one that fails to capitalize on the depth that made her a soap opera icon, minimizes her agency, and undermines her legacy. 3 obvious errors that are more harmful than the others stand out as the show continues to mismanage Brooke's romantic life. Error number 1, once more reducing Brooke to Ridge's property. Framing Brooke's whole romantic life around Ridge Forrester, as if no other relationships could possibly count, is the most egregious mistake B&B consistently makes. The Ridge or nothing argument is no longer compelling. Once upon a time, Brooke was a fiercely independent woman who made brave decisions, some of which were successful and others of which were terrible, but always on her terms. She is now merely a collateral in Ridge's never-ending conflict between Team Brooke and Team Taylor. The show disregards important facts by insisting on this dynamic. Although Brooke has had a strong connection with Nick, Deacon, and even Bill, their relationships are viewed as fleeting diversion rather than genuine romantic relationships. Even though Ridge frequently treats Brooke in a domineering and contemptuous manner, the script nonetheless portrays him as her destiny. Why should viewers support a romance in which one partner continuously disparages the other? It is really stale to have Taylor as a rival. Rehashing the love triangle now only serves to emphasize how little any of these characters have changed since it peaked in the 1990s. The authors are ensnaring Brooke in a narrative void where her only goal is to wait for him to pick her, again, by preventing her from moving past Ridge. To a character that once epitomized female empowerment in soap operas, it is a disservice. Error number 2. Ignoring the chemistry between Brooke and Nick. The return of Nick Marone ought to have changed everything. He had a complicated past with Brooke that included tragic betrayal, unresolved tension, and true love. B&B offered them a half-baked kiss instead of exploring that richness, and then instantly withdrew, seemingly afraid to disturb the unchanging Brooke-Ridge-Taylor triangle. This was a badly lost chance because Ridge has never challenged Brooke the way Nick does. He views her as a complete, imperfect person rather than as a villain or an idol. Ridge might have been forced to face his own complacency as a result of their romance. What if Brooke truly left him for Nick, not as a small-time act of retaliation, but because she discovered something more wholesome? Drama like that would be entertaining to watch. It would end the recurring pattern. It's inevitable that Brooke will return to Ridge after each split. Allowing her to take a different route, even for a little time, would revitalize her personality. Rather, Nick's plot stalled, and Brooke was thrust back into Ridge's sphere of influence. The message? Ridge must always be at the center of Brooke's story, regardless of how interesting another love interest could be. That is creative bankruptcy, not storytelling. Error number 3. Prioritizing regression over Brooke's growth. The most annoying thing about B&B's treatment of Brooke is how frequently it stunts her development for flimsy dramatic effect. Do you recall Brooke's transformation into a shrewd entrepreneur, a loving mother, and a sane voice? As if decades of maturation never occurred, she is now once again identified only by her romantic blunders. Instances of this backslide include: her and Taylor's feud is a thing of the past. After years of shared sorrow, missing their children, fighting addiction, and surviving Sheila's upheaval, these ladies ought to be past catfights by now. Rather, they continue to argue over a man who vacillates between them like a malfunctioning metronome. She has undeveloped ties with her children. In the past, Brooke's relationship with Hope, Bridget, and even Rick was essential to her persona. These days, unless a narrative demands them, they are hardly noticed. She continues to lose her sense of dignity. In contrast to Brooke today, Brooke in the 1990s could never put up with Ridge's condescending. Where is the woman who, despite her mistakes, stood up for her dignity? How this can be fixed by B&B. In order to save Brooke's character, the authors must remove her from the Taylor-Ridge relationship. Give her a new love story that isn't merely a stand-in, or commit to her and Ridge as the conclusion without repeating the same drama. Get her involved in non-romantic relationships again. Brooke's relationships with Katie, Donna, and even Stephanie before to her passing were emotional treasure troves. Bring those back. Give her a genuine, long-lasting triumph. A genuine progression, whether in business, family, or self-discovery, rather than a fleeting victory. In conclusion, Brooke is worthy of better. The Bold and the Beautiful is squandering the potential of Brooke Logan, one of the most recognizable characters in soap opera. The program is failing its audience as well as her by keeping her in the same stale routines. The cycle needs to be broken. If not, even the most devoted supporters will begin to question, why should we care anymore? Taylor's turning point. Taylor has been the voice of reason for years, frequently prioritizing the happiness of others before her own. However, given Ridge's frequent switching between her and Brooke, Taylor might be done being the nice girl. Her mounting annoyance has been alluded to in recent episodes, particularly as Ridge once again falters in his dedication to her. Taylor might lose it and decide that if she can't have Ridge, she'll make sure Brooke suffers the same agony if he breaches her trust once again, maybe by getting back together with Brooke. Bill Spencer, the greatest weapon. Seducing Bill Spencer, the man who once destroyed Brooke's life, is the ideal method to ruin her. Bill has a track record of cruelty, particularly against the Logan sisters. His previous relationships with Brooke and Katie demonstrate that he is not above upsetting them. Bill might be persuaded to cooperate if Taylor approaches him with a plan of retaliation, particularly if it means gaining Brooke's ire. Due to his complicated relationship with Katie and his business, Bill has been comparatively quiet lately. However, he secretly enjoys manipulating people and using authority. He might not say no if Taylor gives him the opportunity to cause trouble while he's near a gorgeous woman. A perilous partnership. There are other reasons why a Taylor-Bill duo might be explosive. Brooke's worst nightmare. Bill's schemes have caused Brooke to suffer in the past. It would be devastating to see him with her longtime competitor, Taylor. Broken ego. Rich had always thought Taylor would be waiting for him. His pride would be severely damaged if she moved on with Bill, a man he hates. Bill and Katie have been working to regain trust, which has angered Katie. Katie may ultimately sever her relationship with him permanently if he hooks up with Taylor. Steffi's response. Although Steffi has always supported Team Taylor, she might be appalled if her mother starts dating the guy who shot her husband, Liam. Will it actually occur? Although it appears improbable that Taylor and Bill would be together, B&B enjoys dramatic turns. Nothing is off the table because the show has a history of surprising pairings. Do you recall when Quinn nearly married Eric's son? This might be Taylor's most vicious action to date if she really wants retribution. But it's also possible that this is a fake-out. Taylor might pose as Bill's friend in order to play a practical joke on Ridge and Brooke, only to later admit it was all a ruse. Or, in typical soap opera fashion, what begins as retaliation may develop into genuine affection, making everything more complicated. Concluding remarks. One of the most tumultuous plotlines in recent B&B history could begin if Taylor and Bill actually end up working together. Ridge would feel humiliated, Brooke would be incensed, and the consequences might destroy several relationships. One thing is clear. Taylor is done being polite, regardless of whether this is a temporary ploy or the beginning of a risky new affair.